toujours renforcer l'alliance, donc avec la Finlande et sous peu, on l'espère, la Suède, nous allons être en mesure de gérer les défis contemporains de l'OTAN. Merci.
What is Putin if he fears provocation by this accession of Finland?
If he really wants peace, Putin needs to get out of Ukraine, period. We've been clear on that and will continue to say. And meanwhile, we believe that this is a very important day, a day that we should all celebrate because as a country, Finland is a plus to the alliance. And for Canada, why is it important? It is also an Arctic nation. And we want to make sure that as Arctic nations are addressing some of the security challenges that we're facing, we need to make sure that Finland and Sweden are at the table and within NATO.
Why NATO is now becoming safer with Finland, while at the same time it's also extending its direct border with Russia with the accession of Finland?
NATO is not against Russia, and NATO has not been. How can I say, countries around the table at NATO have been supportive of Ukraine, and Ukraine has important needs that we're there to support. And in that sense, if Russia wants peace, and if China wants peace, Russia needs to get out of Ukraine, and China needs to say to Russia to get out of Ukraine. Thank you.
Not only is it the birthday of the Washington Treaty, but also a big day for Finland. And we sincerely congratulate our Finnish friends with the accession. Ukraine is aiming at reaching the same goal, becoming a full member of NATO. And it will be one of the topics of our conversations here in Brussels of how can we move forward. NATO and Ukraine need each other. As simple as that. And while we appreciate the practical support we receive from the alliance, there is no better strategic solution to ensuring strategic security in the Euro-Atlantic region than the membership of Ukraine in the alliance. So thank you.
So, Minister Kuleba Dimitro, welcome to NATO. It's great to see you again. And we all see that the war in Ukraine continues to grind on, but we also see the bravery, the courage, the determination of the Ukrainian armed forces, the Ukrainian people, but also the Ukrainian leadership represented by you, and also, of course, President Zelensky. And we are so impressed, and we see how you have been able to push back the Russian aggression, and how also allies then are now stepping up their support. I welcome the fact that NATO allies and partners are delivering also heavy armor, modern battle tanks, and I look forward to the meeting later on today where we can discuss how to sustain and further step up the urgent support to Ukraine, both military support but also economic and financial support. But I also look forward to our discussions among allies on how we can develop a more long-term program for assistance, for support, to ensure that Ukraine can move closer to the Euro-Atlantic family, to our alliance, with more interoperability, transition to NATO doctrines, equipment standards, and therefore I also look forward to that allies will now start the development of a multi-year program assistance package for Ukraine that demonstrates our long-term commitment to your country. Welcome again. It's always a pleasure to have you here, and look forward to have a dialogue with you, and then later on for you to meet all the allies.
Thank you, Jens. It's really good to be here today at NATO on the birthday of the alliance. So happy birthday!
Thank you.
I would also like to thank you for convening the NATO-Ukraine Commission. It's not only symbolically important, but also politically and practically important format. And I'm looking forward to our discussions. I came here to NATO to speed up deliveries of what has already been pledged to Ukraine, primarily artillery ammunition, armored infantry armored vehicles, personnel armored carriers, everything that Ukraine needs for a successful counteroffensive. Of course, I intend to discuss, as you mentioned, the strategic plans for ensuring sustainability of support that Ukraine receives. And of course, the third biggest issue that will be in the spotlight today is Ukraine's accession to NATO. I think we are all happy for Finland today, and Finland's accession is a clear message that the time to revise all strategies and all perceptions has come. And there is no better solution to ensuring Euro-Atlantic security as a whole than membership of Ukraine, eventual membership of Ukraine in NATO. So thank you for having me here, and I'm looking forward to fruitful discussions.
Thank you. Welcome.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
to bude a tohle.
It's great to be here at NATO, celebrating the 74th anniversary of this incredibly successful defensive alliance. And today that we see as, I think, a direct result of Vladimir Putin's aggression and his illegal invasion of Ukraine, the day where a new ally joins our defensive alliance. I think that is very positive. We will celebrate that today and then very quickly get to work on the accession of Sweden to this group of friends and allies. An incredibly important time, but I think what we have seen is this alliance has perhaps never been more relevant, but also has never been more united, and of course has never been larger. Thank you.
It's a great day. It's a great day. Yes.
So it's hello. Hope that it's a good day for all. We'll have a great opportunity today and tomorrow to discuss the basic and most important security issues of the day. And I would think that it's a great opportunity to prepare for Vilnius Summit, which is for me personally as well a very important subject. I think that the main point will be the expectations of what we can call a successful summit. That is the main question that Ukrainians are asking. That is the main question that Lithuanians are asking. I hope that everybody in the room will have some very interesting answers to what we might measure as a success. So for me, the success is moving ahead with a political track for Ukraine towards NATO. The second thing is a commitment to support Ukraine, not just till the end, but to actual victory. Is further defending the eastern flank, and also a possibility to raise a Swedish flag together with the other 31 flag already in Vilnius. That will be the measurement of success.
What's your comment on the accession of Finland today?
Oh, it's a great news. It's wonderful news. I like to see that as a fourth Baltic country joining NATO. We've always considered ourselves when we can become a Nordic country, but now we see that the Baltic group is getting bigger. But on the other hand, I mean, even though we are very much happy to see Finnish flag being raised here, as I mentioned before, the actual result has to be 32. That means that Swedish flag has to be there as well.
What about 33?
What about Ukraine's
NATO that there's no Swedish flag?
It's unfortunate.
Why is NATO getting more secure when at the same time with the accession of Finland it's extending its border by more than doubling it?
Well, because for us, when it comes to our point of view, when we see our region, definitely Finland is a security provider. With a very serious military force, with a lot of experience in training, air force, maritime force, and, well, as I mentioned, experience as what it actually means, fighting the same power to the east and winning.
What about Ukraine joining NATO? You mentioned 32 flags, 33 yes. At some point?
Yeah, I mean, it's a very difficult topic, but the application letter is on the table. And at least from our side, the way we see it, a letter application is an application. It could be Finnish, it could be Swedish, it could be Ukrainian. Even though we still not have a solution as to what to do with it, we cannot ignore the fact that it's there. So the expectation is coming to Vilnius. So we still have some few months left. Is that we will find a way how to bring Ukraine closer to NATO, so that it can become a member when the time is right.
Look like?
Well, there are different ideas when it comes to that. At least we definitely have to move further from 2008 Bucharest memorandum, when we suggested that a map will be somewhere in the future, where we definitely have to take a step from there. I hope that we can find an agreement on that.
What is your message to Orban and Erdogan concerning the accession of Sweden?
Don't spoil Vilnius Summit.
The question is about potential nuclear weapon in Belarus. What do you think about? Is it real threat or just aggressive rhetoric?
Well, it's not just a rhetoric. I think that there are a couple moments in this. First of all, I don't think that it was. It should not go unnoticed that the timeline for them supposedly bringing the weapons is July. What else is in July is Vilnius Summit. So I think that they want, to have all the leaders of the free world gathering in Vilnius, and just, several kilometers away, they will be dragging around some old rockets. So that is definitely a message to us. From the security perspective, from the actual security perspective, we've known before that certain equipment has been brought to Kaliningrad before. That means that we are in an environment when the nuclear weapon is a reality in nearby. But on the other hand, what we're seeing happening with Belarus is incredibly important. We definitely have to admit that it's losing its sovereignty, and very fast. It definitely is a country with very limited sovereignty now, and then that the whole regional situation really calls for very serious steps from NATO when it comes to deterring any military action, especially on the in the Baltic region. That means that we need to look into what actually happened after Madrid summit, how the situation, security situation from from the western side has changed. I mean, so that we still need additional troops on the ground in the Baltics. We still need additional air defense systems in the Baltics, that it would very clearly send a message to anybody who is talking about the rockets, who is talking about nuclear arms, that we are taking this seriously and we are reinforcing the three little countries that border aggressors to the east and Baltic Sea to the west.
Do you need nuclear weapons in Baltic states or not? Not yet?
No, there is no discussion about that. I think that we should really look into the commitments made in Madrid and follow up on those. Thank you.
Putin could understand this accession as a provocation at the end?
Finish, you mean?
Finish?
Look, I think that we don't need to look at this from his perspective. We need to make sure that our side of the border is safe and secure, that people are safe and secure, that we are able to defend the territories, we're able to defend the countries who are insecure currently because there is an aggressor to the east. That is the main point. Thank you.
Ja.
No, no, sir. It's not possible.
It's not a problem of timing.
confondu avec tout ça. D'accord. Ok, c'est parfait. Impeccable, merci. À tantôt. Allô? Allô? Mon DMFA président, il a confondu tout mélange. Et c'est vrai que je pense que notre organisation, il y a un service de police maintenant. Oui, contrôler. Ah, oui, depuis une heure, il est là. Et attention, hein, parce qu'il y a M. Barnier et M. Marty qui sont en train de, ici à l'intérieur, juste en train de checker. Ah oui, quand tu te mets sur un truc là.
Oui, là-bas. Tu vois sa tête qui dépasse des buissons, là, regarde. Ah oui, putain. C'est pas vrai.
C'est moi qui ai demandé parce que si on dit ça,
I'll go with the long.
Nu fan, nu ska du skoja.
Ah, la petite.
Bakan Bey geliyor herhalde yolda.
Carrefour.
Carrefour in de midden.
Yeah. Pity that we didn't have time to eat.
bir şeyleri sunması değil mi? İşte onay belgelerini vermesi gibi bir şey 28 gün. Katılım protokolünü onay belgesini iletecek abi. Official çekecek değil mi abi? Herhalde oraya geçemeyiz. Ama official çekecek herhalde değil mi? Biz oraya geçemeyiz.
Dat is van 3 tot 3 uur. Maar van 3,5 tot 4 van 4 zet dat niet. Dus op van 2,5 tot 5 uur.
Vous avez un élévateur en réseau? Non?
On a testé hier, on a eu mon doigt.
On se met déjà. Moi j'ai la réponse. On en fera une.
Ja, vi känner ju bara glädje naturligtvis. Nu så kommer vi få se vårt syster- och broderland Finland bli medlem i NATO och det är bra för deras säkerhet och det är bra för oss. Så jag ser mycket fram emot den här flaggceremonin som kommer att äga rum här om en liten stund.
Du ska ha en bilateral med Cavusoglu och ska det mötet handla om och vad har du för budskap att säga till?
Ja, först och främst ska det ju handla om det som vi alla vet, nämligen att vi fortsätter ju liksom att stämma av genomförandet av det här memorandumet som vi har ingått tillsammans med Turkiet och Finland. Och jag har inga förhoppningar på något stort och dramatiskt genombrott vid det här mötet, men det är ett bra tillfälle att utnyttja den här utrikesministermötet i NATO-kretsen för att diskutera frågorna framöver. Och budskapet kommer att vara att vi har gjort vår del av avtalet, vad vi kommer överens om inom ramen för det här memorandumet den 1 juni, och så träder då ny lagstiftning på plats som kommer att innebära att vi kraftfullt försvårar och förhindrar människor att använda svensk territorium för terroraktiviteter och naturligtvis också finansiering av terroraktiviteter. Därefter så ser vi inte att det finns något annat som återstår, utan vi har gjort vår del av jobbet och det turkiska parlamentet borde starta ratifikationsprocessen.
Jag har för mig att du har träffat eller ska träffa Antony Blinken. Vad har det mötet gett?
Ja, det är helt riktigt. Jag träffade USAs utrikesminister för en stund sedan här i samband med att vi avhöll ett så kallat EU-USA-möte om energi. Det gjorde vi i egenskapet av ordförandeland i EU. Och det var ett kort och kärnfullt möte och vi fick ju bekräftat det som vi vet, nämligen att USA står helhjärtat på vår sida och tänker tala för vår sak när det gäller NATO-medlemskapet.
Hur då tala för vår sak? På vilket sätt?
Ja, tala för vår sak, tala för hur viktigt det är att Sverige så fort som möjligt blir NATO-medlem. För att det är viktigt för NATO att vi blir medlemmar och det är viktigt för Sveriges säkerhet. Och, USA har ju vid flera tillfällen tagit till orda för att säga att Sverige inte bara är välkomna in i NATO utan Sverige kommer att leverera ett bidrag som stärker NATOs säkerhet. Vi kommer med välövade och välutrustade trupper och vi kommer med ett 360-graders perspektiv, vilket är precis vad NATO vill.
Har du fått några nya signaler från Turkiet?
Det är ju så att just nu så är ju Turkiet uppe i 2 stycken viktiga saker. Dels efterverkningarna till den fruktansvärda jordbävningskatastrofen där ju Sverige bland annat har varit delaktig i att arrangera givarkonferenser för att kunna underlätta för det turkiska folket och alla de som har blivit hemlösa som en följd av jordbävningen. Och dels har man ju sin pågående valprocess, det vill säga valrörelsen som pågår. Så just nu så förväntar vi oss inga stora genombrott därför att det finns så mycket annat som upptar deras tid. Men det innebär ju inte att vi förlorar fokus på det som är den viktiga uppgiften. Det turkiska parlamentet borde starta ratifikationsprocessen därför att Sverige har gjort det som vi har åtagit oss att göra.
Tror du att det turkiska valet kommer att påverka den svenska NATO-processen?
Jag tror att det är alldeles för tidigt att spekulera kring detta. Valdagen är den 14 maj och vi har liksom 6 veckor dit från dagens datum. Så det kan inte jag uttala mig om. Det viktiga i det här sammanhanget är att vi håller fokus på målet, att vi ska bli medlemmar i NATO och att Turkiet borde göra sin del av jobbet, det vill säga ratificera Sverige.
Du har ju tidigare låtit som att du tror att Sverige kan bli medlem under Vilniusmötet och sedan låtit lite mer osäker. Vad tror du idag?
Jag är fortfarande hoppfull och den svenska regeringens ambitioner är att vi ska arbeta med den här frågan stenhårt. Och det kommer vi att göra på flera olika sätt, bland annat då genom att föra samtal med våra blivande allierade och få dem att också föra samtal med Turkiet kring den här frågan. Det är ju trots allt ändå så att det ligger också i NATOs intresse att Sverige blir NATO-medlem. Och vi har ju faktiskt en situation där 28 av 30 medlemsstater redan har ratificerat den svenska ansökan och 30 av 30 medlemsstater gav oss status som inbjuden, invitee, vilket är anledningen till att jag är här idag i egenskap av svensk utrikesminister. Och låt mig bara också göra ytterligare en reflektion. Med Finland och Finlands medlemskap får vi alltså ytterligare en röst på insidan som kommer att kraftfullt tala för att Sverige så fort som möjligt ska bli NATO-medlem. Det är inte så dåligt det heller.
Ska man tolka dig som att Sverige har gjort sitt nu? Ursäkta, Sverige har gjort sitt och nu hoppas du att de andra NATO-länderna ska hjälpa till och driva på här?
Vad gäller memorandumet så har Sverige absolut gjort sitt. Vi har gjort det åtagande gentemot Turkiet och gentemot NATO som vi åtog oss att göra som stat i samband med Madrid-toppmötet. Det innebär däremot inte att Sverige kommer att slå på takten när det gäller att prata för vår sak. Där kommer vi fortfarande vara framåtlutade och vara lika tydliga i våra ambitioner som vi har varit tidigare.
Dagens utslag om att det var fel att stoppa koranbränningarna utanför Iraks och Turkiets ambassader. Hur ser du på det?
Det är ju ingen hemlighet att den svenska regeringen tycker att det är viktigt med yttrandefrihet och det är en väldigt viktig princip som vi står upp för. Samtidigt som man kan hålla två saker i huvudet samtidigt, nämligen att det är olämpligt att genomföra någonting liknande den här koranbränningen. Å andra sidan vad gäller domen så är det en fråga som jag inte vill spekulera i därför att det är en dom som kan överklagas och man alltså bör som minister ha ett säkerhetsavstånd till sådana frågor.
Andreas Billström, med tanke på att du säger att Sverige gjort sitt, ska man inte kunna säga att det är ett låst läge då mellan Sverige och Turkiet i nuläget?
I den här frågan så handlar det ju snarare om vad de övriga NATO-allierade tycker om den här frågan och deras budskap har ju varit konsekvent hittills. De vill se att Sverige ska bli NATO-medlem och 28 av 30 medlemsstater och snart 29 med Finland som kliver in i organisationen är naturligtvis ett väldigt kraftfullt och starkt budskap i sig om att vi är välkomna in i organisationen.
Har du briefats om tillslaget som har gjorts mot 5 misstänkta terrorister?
Nej, det har jag inte gjort. Det här är en fråga som ligger på justitieministerns bord och inte på mitt. Men naturligtvis är det viktigt att upprätthålla lag och ordning och det är bra att polisen arbetar mot att bekämpa terrorism på vårt territorium.
Is it a bitter day for Sweden today that Finland is joining without Sweden?
No, on the contrary, we are very happy for our sister and brother country in the east who are today able to join NATO. This is something which we welcome. We would like to join NATO as well, that's no secret, but it is going to be beneficial for the security of both Sweden and Finland that Finland now becomes a full member of NATO.
Are you 100% sure that Sweden will be member once there's the NATO summit in Vilnius?
Well, that is our ambition from the Swedish government, and we are going to work tirelessly and relentlessly to see to it that we become members of NATO. This is a question of utmost importance for Sweden that we become members. It is the reason why we handed in our application with broad political support and with broad support among the Swedish population, and we would like to see this happen as soon as possible. There is no reason for neither the Turkish parliament or the Hungarian parliament to make any further delays. They should start the ratification process because we have the support of all member states in NATO to become invitees, and thereby we have fulfilled all the requirements.
Do you think that Kurdish in Sweden they will not pay price for you to become the NATO?
No, I don't see any reason for this.
Are you sure?
Yes.
The Turkey, they didn't ask you to any deportation, the Kurdish from Sweden to Turkey?
If you look into the memorandum which was signed during the summit in Madrid, it states very clearly the obligations that Sweden have to make. Within this, there are no references to individual persons, there are no references to any kind of deportations with regards to what you're saying. We are expected to take actions against terrorism, and that will be done within the framework of the Swedish courts and the Swedish legal system, And this is something which the Swedish government has been extremely clear about throughout all these months that has passed since the memorandum was signed. Thank you.
So, Secretary Blinken, dear Tony, welcome back to the NATO headquarters, and it's great to receive you here on such an historic day for NATO, because the Washington Treaty, NATO's founding act, was signed on the 4th of April 1949, and today we are welcoming Finland as the 31st member of our alliance, and I can hardly think about any better way to mark our anniversary than having a new member coming into our alliance. We will have the meeting with the foreign ministers today, address many different and important issues. Of course, Ukraine is top of the agenda. We'll meet with Minister Kuleba in the NATO-Ukraine Council. And thank you so much for the steadfast, strong support from the United States to Ukraine, and we will discuss how to sustain and step up our support to Ukraine. We'll also meet with our Asia-Pacific partners, and that reflects that security is not regional, security is global, and in a world where Russia and China stand more and more closer together, it's even more important that we stand together as NATO allies, but also together with our partners in the Asia-Pacific, Australia, New Zealand, Japan, and South Korea. We will also address how to ensure that allies are investing enough in defense, and we will start the preparations for the summit in Vilnius, where I expect allies to agree a more ambitious pledge to regard 2% of GDP for defense, not as a ceiling, but a floor, a minimum, that we should all meet. And then let me just end by saying that thank you once again, Tony, for your personal commitment, your leadership in this alliance, for the transatlantic bond, and everything the US, the Biden administration, are doing every day to ensure that we all are safe and secure in NATO and as a transatlantic alliance. So welcome.
Thank you. Jens, thank you so much. And I just want to say, as we would say, right back at you, we are so grateful for your leadership at a truly historic moment for our alliance, for the transatlantic community, indeed for the global community that stands strongly for the basic principles of the UN Charter and that stands strongly for peace, stability, and security. This is truly a historic day because very shortly, as the Secretary General said, we will be welcoming Finland into the alliance, to its seat at the table. And I'm tempted to say this is maybe the one thing we can thank Mr. Putin for, because he, once again here, has precipitated something he claims to want to prevent by Russia's aggression, causing many countries to believe that they have to do more to look out for their own defense and to make sure that they could deter possible Russian aggression going forward. But I think we're going to be thrilled to have Finland as the 31st member of this alliance. So this is an important day on an important day already in NATO's history. And then, as the Secretary General said, we have a lot of work to do today to prepare for the Vilnius summit with the leaders from our countries coming together. That, too, will be a hugely important moment, both in continuing to reaffirm in both political and practical ways our support for Ukraine, to continue the work that we've been doing over previous summits to strengthen the defense and deterrence capacity of the alliance itself, and, as the Secretary General said, to continue to build out new partnerships between NATO and countries in other parts of the world, notably in the Asia Pacific, precisely for the reasons that the Secretary General said. The challenges that we're facing are global in nature, and what we've seen over the last couple of years is greater convergence than I've seen in my own experience doing this for 30 years between the United States and Europe, between the United States and Asian partners, and amongst all of us in how to effectively meet the challenges of our time. So the work could not be more timely, could not be more important, and as always, it's great to be here at NATO. Thank you.
Thank you.
think in overall,
Franck part, et le gars vient s'asseoir en face de moi et Carlos et moi on se regarde.
On va rester là quelques minutes. Son identité.
Je vais m'excuser, je vais regarder dans les yeux quand je le fais. Oh non. Ouais, ça j'en dis c'est du Xavier. Mais c'est bien sûr, oui il faut.
Very historic day, and it's a great pleasure to welcome Finland as a full member to NATO. That will strengthen the alliance as a whole, but also the security in the Nordic region. When I was appointed as the Foreign Minister of Norway 1.5 years ago, one of the first colleagues I met with was my Finnish colleague Pekka. And in the run-up of this war, we decided to stay very coordinated because Finland has an insight on Russia and that has been built up for years. But I didn't expect then that Finland would become a full member within 1.5 years. So we think that will strengthen the coordination and also cooperation in the Nordic region. I'm also very happy to welcome my ministerial colleagues to Norway to the informal NATO ministerial meeting in Oslo in the end of May. And I'm also happy to discuss how we can step up the assistance to Ukraine in this meeting. Norway has just adopted a 5-year support package to Ukraine with support of 95% of the MPs in the Norwegian Parliament. So this program will run also after the next election. So we have committed ourselves for years. Thank you.
There will be a doubling of the border now with Russia. Could that be a danger for the NATO?
No, I don't think so, because NATO is a defensive alliance, and Russia has been living with Norway as a NATO member for 74 years. Norway was one of the founding members of NATO in 1949. So they know Norway, Russia knows NATO, and it's very predictable what NATO is about. Thank you.
gauche que les parties à droite. Les hanches, on va dégager. On va dégager.
On ne met pas tes gants. D'accord, toi aussi, hein, elle est là. Elle pue. Tu pars, fais pas sauver les mouvements. J'ai pas trouvé de bien.
Si elle revient, si elle revient, je lui dis qu'elle reste là. Et tu veux pas rester 2 minutes?
Regarde comme ils sont bien couverts. Attends, on va prendre.
Bien couvert, bien
on va
couvert.
sentir s'il fait chaud.
On a quelqu'un qui s'occupe de nous pour pas qu'on tombe malade. Tu veux qu'on reste comme ça. Tu fais toujours. Quand tu es au soleil sans vent, ça va, mais dès qu'il y a du vent, tu vas pas te dire.
Tu peux pas être dans la tente.
Tu viendras pas une heure.
Si, tu vas vous garder tu tiendras une heure, tu viendras pas
Non, mais pas ça, lui, pour lui,
après vous
elle reste là, mais non, elle reste là. Si elle se rapproche du vent, je crois que c'est le plus central.
Ça va? Médecin généraliste? Elle a l'air d'aller au milieu même.
Avec l'aviation, je pense.
Ça va et toi?
Bon, tu mets le chauffage alors, Sophie?
Moi, c'est censé être dans mes corps.
Allerførst, det er dagen, hvor Finland bliver medlem af NATO. Hvor stort er det set med dine øjne?
Det er en stor dag i dag. Det er flot. Solen skinner. Det er NATO-dag. Alliancen fylder 74 år og får et nyt medlem, Finland. Det har været endnu bedre, hvis Sverige også har været med i dag. Men altså, det skal nu ikke sætte skår i glæden over, at Finland indtræder i NATO. Og dermed styrke den her alliance. Og et eller andet sted er det jo så også et udtryk for et stort, gigantisk Putin-selvmål, kan man sige. Fordi for 2 år siden var der ikke mange i Finland, der gik og talte om at blive medlem af NATO. Det er jo fremkaldt af den her ulovlige aggressionskrig i Ukraine, som har fremkaldt et stærkt vestligt sammenhold. Og det er jo fantastisk, at vi nu får en Østersø, når Sverige også er med, hvor alle lande til Østersøen på nær et er medlem af NATO.
Lars Løkke, hvad betyder det for Danmarks sikkerhed, at et land som Finland nu træder ind i NATO?
NATO er jo en forsvarsalliance. Finland er en stærk forsvarsnation, har været nødt til at være det, fordi de stod der i egen ret. Det samme gælder i Sverige. Og når de 2 lande træder ind i NATO, så bliver NATO styrket og stærkere, og når NATO bliver stærkere, så bliver dansk sikkerhed også.
Men er der ingen bekymring i regeringen om potentielt nye spændinger i Østersøområdet oven på Finlands indtræden i NATO?
Det er jo Putin selv, der har fremkaldt den her forstærkelse af forsvarsalliancen. Og NATO er en forsvarsalliance. Det er ikke nogen angrebspagt. Og det styrker vores allesammens sikkerhed, at den her alliance, den udvides.
Men hvordan vil regeringen håndtere potentielle nye spændinger i lige præcis Østersøregionen, som vi ligger ud til?
Vi håndterer jo den nye geopolitiske virkelighed ved blandt andet at opruste det danske forsvar. Altså det er jo derfor, den her regering har sat som et mål at nå vores NATO-forpligtelser allerede 2030. Og så er det klart, at når vi får vores gode nordiske allierede med i den samme forsvarsalliance, så skaber der også en mulighed for et tættere samarbejde. Det er jo ikke fordi, vi skal regionalisere NATO-samarbejdet, men det er klart, at det skaber nogle muligheder. Og det kommer til at skabe også en tryggere Østersø i lyset af Putins aggression, at alle lande omkring Østersøen, altså bortset fra Rusland, er medlem af NATO.
Jeg har selv før, at nu mangler vi stadigvæk Sverige. Hvad kommer der til at ske der, og hvad er du bekymret for det her usikkerhed omkring et svensk NATO-medlemskab, eller er det bare noget, man skal vente ud?
Vi havde jo helst set, og det havde man også både i Helsinki og Stockholm, at de 2 nye nordiske NATO-medlemmer var trådt ind i alliancen samtidig. Det kan så ikke ske i dag, men jeg er stadig både fortrøstningsfuld og håbefuld. Sverige opfylder alle betingelser, der er sat for medlemskab, så det beror alene på, at der er 2 lande, der ikke har ratificeret. Det kan man analysere længe på, men det er nu min bestemte formodning, at inden vi rammer Vilnius-topmødet til sommer, så har vi også det 32. medlemsland i NATO på plads.
Briten Sanjay Shah kan udleveres til Danmark, har en domstol i Dubai afgjort. Hvad er din forventning til, hvornår det vil ske?
Først og fremmest glæder det mig rigtig meget af et intensivt arbejde hos en stribe danske myndigheder nu bærer frugt. Og at denne person udleveres til Danmark. Det beror jo på, at den relevante minister i de arabiske emirater skal skrive under. Det betragter vi og håber, at det forholder sig sådan, at det er en formsag, og så vil det vel gå relativt hurtigt.
Har du hørt noget, altså en sikker bekræftelse på, at justitsministeren i Dubai han vil skrive under på det?
Nej, altså vi kan jo forholde os til, at domstolen i Dubai uden yderligere ankemuligheder har afsagt den her kendelse. Og så forstår jeg, at der er en formalitet, at der er en minister, der skal skrive under. Det må man vælge at betragte som en formalitet.
Lykke, må jeg lige spørge dig til sagen omkring Finlands indtræden og Sveriges potentielt også på et eller andet tidspunkt. Betyder det noget nyt for Bornholm? Får Bornholm en ny strategisk betydning, nu hvor Finland kommer ind, og Sverige formentlig også gør i løbet af nogle måneder?
Vi udvider jo NATO-alliancen mod øst. Alene Finlands medlemskab af NATO gør, at der kommer 1.340 kilometer NATO-grænse til Rusland. Og det kommer til at forstærke den her forsvarsalliance. Bornholm ligger der i Østersøen og kommer altså til at ligge i en Østersø, hvor alle lande, altså bortset fra Rusland er medlem af NATO, og det betyder jo, at den her sikkerhedsparaply, som NATO er, den bliver stærkere, og det er også godt for Bornholm. Hvad det her så mere præcis kommer til at betyde, kan man sige, for lokaliseringer, det er for tidligt at svare på. Altså det er jo et arbejde, der går i gang nu. Det er helt oplagt, at det her kommer til at skabe nogle muligheder for et stærkere nordisk forsvarssamarbejde. Og det kan vi allerede se i de respektive landes flyvevåben, hvor man har taget skridt til at lave et samarbejde. Ikke med henblik på at lave et integreret luftforsvar, men altså med henblik på at lave uddannelser, airpolicing og andre ting i sammenhæng. Så det, at vi får hele Norden med i NATO, det er en styrkelse af vores allesammens sikkerhed.
Og med et stærkere NATO, kan vi så prioritere anderledes i det danske forsvar? Vi skal snart forhandle forsvarsforlig. Altså, kunne vi lave nogle andre satsninger, end vi ellers ville på Arktis eller andre ting?
Det her rokker ikke ved, at vi først og fremmest skal prioritere op. Altså, vi bruger aktuelt på de tal, der ligger på bordet her i dag, efter min bedste hukommelse 1,38% af vores bruttonationalprodukt. Det bringer os bestemt ikke i toppen blandt NATO-landene, heller ikke helt i bunden. Til gengæld kan man så glæde sig over, at NATO har jo også andre mål, blandt andet målet om, at man skal investere mindst 20% af sine forsvarsudgifter i nyt materiel. Der ligger vi rigtig, rigtig flot for. Men vi kommer til at investere mere. Altså det er først og fremmest det, der står klart. Fordi det, vi skal diskutere på mødet her i dag, det er jo blandt andet forberedelsen af Vilnius-topmødet. Og der er det rimelig sikkert, at de målsætninger, der var i Wales, de bliver skærpet. Hvor man i Wales tilbage i 2014 besluttede, at man skulle tilstræbe og nå op mod 2%, så er der ingen tvivl om, at det her ender med, at der kommer en ny, sådan mere markant forpligtelse på at levere 2%. Og det er også det, regeringen kommer til. Og så pågår der et arbejde, det skal jeg ikke kloge mig på, det er ikke mit ressort, og det sker også med SACEUR og med vores militærfolk. Hvordan skal NATO så bedst muligt stille de her brikker op? Og der er det klart, at det, at der nu er alle de nordiske lande, forhåbentlig lige om lidt, med i NATO, det kommer til at skabe nogle muligheder for et tættere samarbejde, og dermed jo en bedre udnyttelse af vores allesammens ressourcer.
Minister, what does it mean for Denmark to have another Nordic, another Baltic Sea nation join NATO today?
I'm thrilled about the fact that we celebrate this NATO anniversary day by welcoming our Finnish friends. I would have been even more thrilled if we could welcome Sweden as well. Having all the Nordic countries within NATO will enhance the security also in Denmark. So this is definitely great news.
How confident are you that Sweden could join by the Vilnius summit?
Well, I'm confident. I think you have to look into domestic politics in some specific countries to find arguments why they are not, welcome here today as full members. I predict that the ratification process will be ended before the Vilnius summit. Tak.
We are preparing the Vilnius summit, and also because this is the first foreign affairs meeting after the meeting of the foreign minister, which I have hosted in Bucharest last November. So I'm glad that we can move forward based on the discussions we had in Bucharest. It is, of course, a historic day, as many of my colleagues mentioned already, because today we mark the accession of Finland to the alliance, and this will make Finland safer and also the alliance stronger. I'm glad that I was personally involved in diplomatic demarches to support this goal, and I congratulate Finland for this achievement. At the same time, it is very interesting that this happens during the mandate of Romania's embassy in Helsinki as a contact point, NATO contact point embassy. It is a short mandate, but we are glad that this is a short mandate because of Finland's accession. At the same time, it is important that Sweden's accession takes place as soon as possible, and we will support this goal. It is also symbolic because today the alliance marks its 74th anniversary. 2 days ago, Romania has celebrated the 19th anniversary since our accession to NATO. Coming back to the substance of today's and tomorrow's discussions, last week in Poland, I have co-presided together with my Polish colleague, Mr. Rau, Bucharest 9 meeting of the Allies on the eastern flank, and we have prepared for these meetings. Today we will start with a very timely NATO-Ukraine Commission. It is the first after 2017, so 6 years have passed since no such meeting took place. And we are very glad that we have it together with Minister Kuleba. And at the same time, we are looking forward to have a similar meeting with President Zelensky in Vilnius. We will discuss, of course, our support for Ukraine, which has to continue as long as it takes, because, as I have mentioned for many times, if we want peace in the region, if we want peace in the Euro-Atlantic space, we need to make Ukraine win this war. There is no other option. So we will make sure that this will happen. Together we have to also support the other vulnerable partners in the region, for instance the Republic of Moldova, which is the target of destabilizing actions by Russia. And yesterday Madam President Maia Sandu paid a visit to Bucharest, and we have discussed together with Chancellor Scholz and President Iohannis about how to make Moldova more resilient and safer. That's why Romania will commit, and I will announce tomorrow and today the fact that we will contribute further to the defense capacities building programs of the alliance, $800,000 US for Ukraine, $750,000 US for Moldova in order to improve their defense capacities. Tomorrow we will of course discuss the preparation for the Vilnius summit. The focus will be on strengthening our alliance, strengthening our posture of deterrence and defense on the eastern flank, because it is important to move forward to the goal of having a forward defense on the eastern flank. It is important to discuss about security in the Black Sea region, because the Black Sea, as mentioned by the documents of the Madrid summit, is of strategic importance for the Euro-Atlantic security. And this means also maintaining and also growing the allied presence on the eastern flank countries, including in Romania. Growing presence means also prepositioning of equipment, means more monitoring capacities for what happens in our region, means more air defense, and many other demarches that we will discuss together. We have also to discuss together how to advance the path of Ukraine to become a NATO ally. We are supporters of the open doors policy. We have been supportive of the implementation of the Bucharest summit of 2008 decision regarding Ukraine and Georgia, and we will continue to do so. So we will discuss how to better make the strategic alignment of NATO to Ukraine. So a lot of important issues on our agenda. Speaking of Black Sea, I will reiterate the invitation to my colleagues to the Black Sea Security Conference that Romania and Ukraine will host in Bucharest on the 13th of April. It is dedicated to the security in the region, lessons learned, but also projection for the future. It is the first such conference under the International Crimea platform. And we will, of course, discuss about moving forward with the defense investment pledge. As you know, Romania has already moved from 2% allocated for defense to 2.5% starting with this year. So a lot of interesting debates. We will have also discussion with our partners from Indo-Pacific, which is extremely timely, taking into account the growing Chinese assertiveness, but also the friendship between China and Russia against the background of the conflict in Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Mais je l'ai vu, il vient de passer il y a 2 minutes. Mais je sais pas, il est là. Mais il est là-bas, il est là-bas. Il est là-bas.
Ok, je suppose qu'ils ont une escort police. Ah bah ça, ok, ça marche. Nickel, merci, on se tient au courant.
S, bonjour, S, c'est bon, on va faire. Bonjour, oui, c'est bon. Ça va? Ok, ouais, ça va. Je vais t'aller bien, tu vas voir.
Ouais, c'est bête pas quand on a couleur du vent. Quand on a accès à Ouais, fais ça comme on a fait. Ça et ça, c'est fini. Ouais, c'est bon, c'est bon.
Invitados importantes. El ministro de Asuntos Exteriores de Ucrania, Kuleba, va a estar con nosotros y haremos una reflexión importante sobre la situación en Ucrania y ese deseo que tenemos todos, y en primer lugar España, de que la paz regrese a Ucrania, que es lo mismo que decir que la paz regrese a Europa. Voy a expresar de nuevo y reiteradamente, aunque nuestros amigos ucranianos lo saben de sobra, también nuestros socios atlánticos, la solidaridad y el compromiso de España con Ucrania de todas las formas posibles y tanto tiempo como sea necesario, para defender a tantos civiles indefensos, para defender la integridad territorial, la soberanía y la libertad de Ucrania, y también para defender los principios más básicos de la Carta de Naciones Unidas, que es lo que nos garantiza al final la igualdad soberana de los Estados y la paz y la estabilidad en el mundo. Y también, por supuesto, la voz de España se oirá para subrayar la importancia del vecindario sur y de eso que en el lenguaje de la OTAN se denomina la OTAN de 360 grados. Porque las amenazas hoy en día, la principal, por supuesto, es el desafío de Rusia a la seguridad euroatlántica y a la integridad territorial y la soberanía, la igualdad soberana de todos los estados en Europa, pero también hay amenazas desde el sur y cada vez más las amenazas del sur son también las amenazas rusas desde el sur. Por lo tanto, van a ser 2 días de reflexión, de intercambio, para que avance la seguridad euroatlántica y para intentar que la paz regrese a Europa. Y desde luego España no va a escatimar esfuerzos, como siempre, para ser constructiva y para trabajar conjuntamente con todos sus aliados.
¿Cree que la OTAN debe desplegar tropas en Finlandia para proteger la desde ya frontera más grande con Rusia?
Bueno, vamos seguro a hablar de cuál es la mejor forma de garantizar esa seguridad euroatlántica, pero el principio de seguridad de la OTAN, que te quiero recordar una vez más, que es una alianza defensiva, en ningún caso ofensiva, lo único que hace es ofrecer seguridad. En todo momento se hace un análisis de riesgos, de amenazas, de dónde se encuentran esos riesgos, esas amenazas y del mejor uso en cada momento para el despliegue de lo que es el escudo de seguridad. Si fuera necesario en Finlandia sería digamos en la frontera con Finlandia. Lo que es cierto es que hoy la alianza es más grande y por lo tanto también el incremento de nuestra seguridad es mayor. En estos momentos el despliegue es en el flanco este y España colabora activamente a garantizar esa seguridad europea que es también la seguridad de los españoles.
Sí, la OTAN suma un aliado, pero hay otro país que se queda de momento pendiente por el camino, digamos. España piensa reforzar un poco las relaciones con Turquía, las conversaciones en marcha con Turquía, para garantizar que esa adhesión se produce antes de la cumbre de Lituania, y no sé si consideraría un fracaso que para esa cumbre no hubiera 32 miembros.
Bueno, hoy es un día de celebración, hoy es un día importante, hoy entra Finlandia, esa es de verdad la importancia del día. Por supuesto, yo espero que Suecia lo haga lo antes posible. Con Turquía tenemos una extraordinaria interlocución y una extraordinaria relación. Hemos trasladado toda nuestra solidaridad tras el terremoto que asoló Turquía y Ucrania. Ha estado el equipo de campaña y el hospital de campaña de la ECID hasta hace muy pocos días sobre el terreno, y por supuesto mantenemos un diálogo fluido con Turquía. No es por parte de España quien debe de tomar esa decisión, simplemente nuestra posición es clara. Nosotros ya hemos hecho lo que teníamos que hacer para facilitar el que Suecia pueda ser parte de la OTAN, y lo que esperamos es que cuanto antes todo el mundo siga el mismo camino. Muchas gracias.
It's a joyful day today. It's a real pleasure to be here in Brussels, especially because it's a great day. We are about to welcome a new member of our alliance. Congratulations to Finland and welcome to our new colleague, Pekka. It's a historic day both for NATO and Finland. With this new accession, Finland become stronger and NATO as well. And we really hope to welcome very soon Sweden. So it's also a big day because we are celebrating the 74th anniversary of the signing of the Alliance Treaty. That means that for almost 3/4 of a century, NATO has been able to protect all of us. It means 1 billion citizens, which is a real achievement. Today, more than yesterday, we are conscious that security is the first base of freedom. We are going to address the situation in Ukraine that we wish to see in the near future pacified and free. We are going to talk about the situation on the ground with our colleague Dmytro Kuleba. Belgium is committed to keep supporting Ukraine in the long term, practically and politically, through the comprehensive assistance package, among others. Et nous aurons aussi des sessions de travail qui seront consacrées au Sud, le Sud qui est confronté aussi à des défis, je pense entre autres au terrorisme et à l'instabilité. Et le voyage que j'entamerai bientôt avec mon collègue portugais en Tunisie s'inscrit dans ce cadre-là. Aujourd'hui, ce qui est important plus que jamais, c'est que les alliés de l'OTAN restent unis entre eux, mais aussi avec des partenaires qui partagent les mêmes valeurs, des partenaires like-minded. Nous aurons aussi demain une session de travail qui sera consacrée aux pays de l'Asie-Pacifique qui rencontrent aussi les mêmes défis que nous. Voilà, je vous remercie beaucoup.
Secretary Blinken, Minister Haavisto, it's a pleasure to welcome you both here today because this is an historic day. Soon we will be welcoming Finland as the 31st member of our alliance, and we will raise the Finnish flag outside this building. But before we do that, there are some formalities that we have to ensure are done in the right and proper way. So, Secretary Blinken, please, you have the floor.
Well, Secretary General, Mr. Minister, I'm delighted to report that just a few moments ago, Turkey deposited with me on behalf of the United States Turkey's ratification of the instrument of acceding to the protocol for Finland's accession to NATO. And with the receipt and submission of that protocol, I can say that the protocol is now in force.
Thank you so much. This is great news, Secretary Blinken. And with that, I can actually then hand over to you, Minister Haavisto, the formal invitation on behalf of all allies for the Republic of Finland to accede to the North Atlantic Treaty. So please.
Thank you.
And then at the same time, I can also invite you to deposit your documents of accession to the US government, here represented by Secretary Blinken.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Thank you, Secretary Blinken. Now when I've got this invitation, it's my great pleasure to deposit with the Secretary of State of the United States of America, Finland's instrument of accession to the North Atlantic Treaty. Please, Secretary Blinken.
Thank you very much. Well, with receipt of this instrument of accession, we can now declare that Finland is the 31st member of the North Atlantic Treaty. Congratulations.
And since we are now a member of NATO, we have a very important task. And the task is actually to give to you for the deposit also our ratification for Swedish membership. This is our first act as a member state. Please.
Thank you, Pekka. I'm delighted to receive this on behalf of Finland.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then we welcome Finland to the alliance, and we also appreciate that you have agreed also to invite Sweden. So this ends this moment, and then we will continue outside the building in just a moment. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
President Niinistö, dear Sauli, it is a special honor to welcome you here on this historic day, as Finland becomes the 31st member of NATO. In a few moments, we will raise the Finnish flag at the NATO headquarters for the first time. From today, 31 flags will fly together, a symbol of our unity and our solidarity. Joining NATO is good for Finland, it is good for Nordic security, and it's good for NATO as a whole. Finland brings substantial and highly capable forces, expertise on national resilience, and years of experience working side by side with NATO allies. I'm deeply proud to welcome Finland as a full-fledged member of our alliance. And I look forward to also welcoming Sweden as soon as possible. At times like this, friends and allies are more important than ever. And Finland now has the strongest friends and allies in the world. President Putin wanted to slam NATO's door shut. Today, we show the world that he failed, that aggression and intimidation do not work. Instead of less NATO, he has achieved the opposite, more NATO. And our door remains firmly open. President Niinistö, dear Sauli, thank you for your outstanding leadership and commitment, and for leading Finland into the most successful alliance in history. So welcome, it's great to have you here. Welcome to the alliance.
Thank you, it's great to be here. Mr. Secretary General, dear Jens, I want to thank you. You have been with us all the way. I remember we discussed quite deeply about NATO and Finnish membership already 2021 when you brought your council to Finland. I guess we have been talking after that by phone or by meeting almost tens of times. So it is a great day for Finland, and I want to see that it is an important day for NATO too. Security and stability are those elements which we feel very strongly. And, well, we can all think that if people can live in secured, stable circumstances, that's the basic element of happy life. And you, I guess, know that Finns are very happy already now. I would also see that this is a process from 30 to 31, and like you said, very nearby future to 32. That is that we work for Swedish membership very hard. We are doing that together with them, together with you, and that will continue. From Finnish point, also Swedish membership is most important. But once again, stability and security, I wish that we can give our share of increasing that in the defense alliance we have.
We have time for a few questions. Please.
Lauri Nurmi from Finland. Mr. President, how historic is this moment? You was born 1948. NATO was established 1949.
Well, I will have my 75 years birthday today, and NATO comes next year. But surely we have seen many, you have described many moments being historic in this process. I guess this is the day most historic to us and to our partners too.
Okay, we have Yle, the lady just behind with the microphone. Yeah.
Historic day, but without Sweden. How can Finland help Sweden to get into NATO, and how will NATO proceed with the Sweden to be allied? And then one more question to Mr. Niinistö: do you feel relieved?
Yes, surely, from the result. But I want to tell you that the whole process, it hasn't been that tough in a way. We have had so good cooperation all the time and full trust. At least we have in Finland all the time. It has been very clear that in due time we will be members. So basically the process hasn't been that actually demanding. But surely it's a relief when we can repeat words security and stability. That is a relief for all of us. To Sweden, we have all the way been working together with Sweden. We continue helping them as much as possible. I have been discussing with President Erdogan. You have been discussing many times, and I think at least I have a very positive outlook for that.
Just to concur with the President Niinistö, we are both in close contact with Ankara, with President Erdogan. I went to Ankara a few weeks ago, and that was where we agreed on the way forward, both when it comes to this fine ratification of Finland, but also that we agreed to restart the process in what we call the trilateral permanent mechanism with Finland, Sweden, and Turkey to follow up on the trilateral memorandum of understanding that was signed in Madrid. President Niinistö was there, I was there, and now it's important to follow up and to ensure that one important element, which is actually to finalize the membership process, not only for Finland but also for Sweden, is fully implemented. And my message is and has been also in my meetings in Ankara that not only Finland but also Sweden has delivered on the commitments they have made under that trilateral agreement. So nothing should hinder or be an obstacle for also the final ratification of also Sweden to become a member. This is a top priority for the alliance. This is important for me personally, and all allies agree that we should try to finalize the accession also of Sweden as soon as possible. So we will continue to work on this, and hopefully we can have Sweden in soon. Let me add one more thing, and that is that Finland and Sweden applied together. They did so in May last year. Already in June, 1 month after, all allies, also Turkey, invited Finland and Sweden to become members. And so far this has been the fastest accession process in NATO's modern history. I also stated that, of course, the most important thing is not that Finland and Sweden joins exactly at the same time. The most important thing is that they join as soon as possible. Today Finland is joining, and then we will ensure that also Sweden can join as soon as possible.
Okay, we'll go to ARD.
President, Russia always says that the enlargement of NATO towards the east or the north threatens Russia. And what do you, or are you afraid that the Finnish accession is also a pretext for Russia to see Russia surrounded, to be threatened by the West?
Actually, like you said, Russia has been repeating that, and President Putin took it up very clearly in December 21, and that was one of the reasons why the discussion in Finland rose. We don't want to be or we do not want that others say what we should do and what we can't do. I had full belief, surely, on NATO. NATO won't close its doors, but nevertheless, that was Russians, in a way, tried to create a sphere around them. And, well, we are not a sphere. And all this, the result we see today.
Lady over there.
Thank you, Ida Hallikainen from Ilta-Sanomat. This day means a big change for Finland's security. How big this change is, and what does it mean for us and for NATO?
Well, like Secretary General told, we have been on board quite a long time. We are enhanced partners with Sweden now more than 10 years. And during that time, we have all the time been developing our capabilities of working together with NATO. So the change is not that radical. It has actually taken place year after year by us getting closer. That the same fits with Sweden too, surely. In a daily life, I do not believe that people see very much changes, but like I started with, is that I'm sure that Finns feel themselves more secured, more feeling that we are living in a stable Europe, a stable world, and that is most important for us.
Today, Finland will become a full member of the alliance, and that means that from today on, Finland will participate in all NATO structures, military civilian activities, and also be at the table in all NATO meetings, and also have a vote and be part of decision making within the alliance. But of course, most importantly, what happens from today on is that Finland will be covered by NATO's ironclad security guarantees, our Article 5, that says that an attack on one ally will be regarded as an attack on all, one for all for one. Then the President is absolutely right when he says that this has been a gradual development. Finland and Sweden have many years been very close partners. Then after we invited Finland and Sweden in June last year, they got an other status, invitee status, which is a special status that actually triggered a process where we started to integrate Finland and Sweden into our military and civilian structures. But of course, it is a different thing to be close and an invitee and to be a full member, which is the case for Finland from today on.
Thank you very much, colleagues. This wraps up this press point, but we'll see you at the flag-raising ceremony soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.